Hey everyone, how are you? So today we are going to solve the lead code problem of the day, and the problem is smallest subsequence of distinct characters, and the problem is of medium level, but no worries, we are going to make it look easy. The problem number is 1081 and the problem says that you are given a string s as an input which contains alphabet. It will basically contain lowercase alphabet like a, b up to z, and what we need is a lexicographically smallest subsequence which contains all the characters of your given string s. For example, if the given input is this one, this is your given input string, then the output is going to be a c d b. Basically a c d b is a subsequence in the given string s a c d b which contains all the characters which is in your string s. Your string s contains a, b, c and d. These are the four characters, and the smallest lexicographically smallest subsequence which contains all these four characters is a, c, d and b. So this is going to be your output, as you can see in the example as well, that the output for this given input is a, c, d, b. Now the thing is, how are we going to solve it? So let's start from the basic and let's see how are we going to solve it without jumping to the actual solution. So this is your given input string s, right? Now try to think what you actually need. You need to find out what are the unique characters in your string, right? First of all, you need to find out it. Then only you can just, try to create a subsequence from your given string which contains all those unique characters, right? So given the string, I would find out the unique characters. So I have A, B, C, D. These are the unique characters. My target is to find out a lexicographically smallest subsequence. So I would try to find out a subsequence from the given string S which starts with the smallest character, right? My target would be to find out a subsequence which starts with A, then we get a B, then we get a C, and then we get a D, right? So this will be my target. Now we need to find out a subsequence which is closest to our target, which is going to be our final answer. So I would like to start with A. So this is my first A which I got, right? So let's say that we include this first A in our subsequence. So we got a subsequence starting with A. Then we see a B here, right? So we start with A, then we see a B, then we see a C. So we got A, B, C, right? We got A, B, and C. But we have not got a D, because a subsequence in a subsequence you cannot go back to find a D, right? So you will have to just keep jumping forward. So we got a A, we got a B, we got a C, but we do not have a D. So if we create a subsequence which is A, B, C, then we cannot get a D, right? So you cannot just go in a straight way and get the answer. So let's try to get into some logical part now, that how can you apply some logic and get the answer. So let's say we start with A, right? Now we get a C here, we can include this. We get a D here, we include this. We get a C here, we already have a C, so we don't need to take this C. Then we get a B here and we got our answer, which is A, C, D, B, right? So you need to understand that your answer will always have a length which will be equal to the number of unique characters in your string. So if I have 4 unique characters, my answer will have a size of 4, because I don't need to include any character which is already there in my subsequence. For example, if I say A, C, D, C, B, if this is my subsequence, then I could just simply remove this and still my subsequence A, C, D, B will be correct, right? Correct for the particular solution. So based on these kind of knowledge, let's start solving it by going character by character, and let's see what we can do with each character. So first we see the character C, and let's say we include this in our answer, right? Although we know that the answer for this particular is A, C, D, B. This is our subsequence or a sequence which has all the characters, and it is lexicographically smallest as well, right? But still, the moment I see a C, I would say, let's say this is my answer. This is the part of my answer, and I have started creating my answer. B, all right, let's do the same thing, right? We get a B and let's add it in our answer. So we got a subsequence as of now of 2 characters, which is C and B. But the problem is, I know that I have a character just before me which is greater than me, right? The character before B is C, and we know that C is greater than B. So this is not lexicographically smallest as of now. But what if there is no any number of C available in future? We just have A, D, and B. Then in this case, we will have to start with a C, right? Because we are not going to get a C later on. So that's our logic. The moment I see a B and I see a character previous to B which is greater than B, so my question will be, will I get the same character in future or not? if I get this character in future, so I could actually remove this from my answer. I don't need it because I can get it in future and this will be lexicographically smaller, right? If I just remove this particular C and I know that later on I am going to get a C, so for sure I will have a C after the B, right? This is lexicographically smaller, at least compared to CB. We know that BC is lexicographically smaller, right? This is smallest. So this is going to be my logic. How do I know that if I get a B and my previous character is actually a C? So how do you know that do I have a C in future? You will just have to run a loop here, right? But better thing to do is initially have a count of all the characters. If I have a count, let's say the initial count is going to be, for C it is 1, 2 and 3 and 4. For B it is 2. For A it is 1. And for D also I think it is 1. So these are the count of my characters. The moment I have seen a C, the first C, I would just reduce the count. For every character, I have to see the future, that do I have a character in future or not, right? So for example, for B, I want to know that do I have a C in future or not. So the moment I will see this, I will remove its count or I would decrease its count so that the remaining count is just for the future. So I have seen a C here, right? So the moment I have seen a C here, I would say now the count is not 4, the count is actually 3. All right. Similarly for B, the moment I see a B here, I would say the count is not 2, the count is actually 1. So let me actually write this in a more readable way. The count is 1, the count is 3. Now the question is, I got a B, previously I have a C. Do I have a C in future? Yes, the count is 3. So I have 3C later on. I would just remove this from my answer and my answer would start with a B. Now here what you are applying is a kind of stack. The thing is, I want to store my data in something like a stack because I want to go back. The moment I remove a C, maybe I had a D here, I had a C here, or not C, but let's say I have a E here, right? So I would just keep removing those characters which I can get in the future. So I want to look just one step back. So having the data in a kind of stack is going to be useful for a C if I want to add a B at the top. And then before adding, I would just want to verify that the previous character, is it lexicographically smaller or not? If it is smaller, then it is fine. But if it is bigger, do I get the same character in future? If yes, I would remove this. So I need to store it in some kind of stack. And now this is a special kind of stack. This is called a monotonic stack because a monotonic stack either keeps the element in increasing order or decreasing order. Now this increasing or decreasing is decided on some kind of fact. So here we are deciding the ordering based on the availability of the element in future and based on the lexicographically smaller element. So right now my answer starts with a B. Now I do the same thing with the next element, which is A. So I include this A, but before I include this, I want to ensure that this A is not already there in my data or in my answer or in my stack. So I will have to maintain a kind of set as well where I will store all the elements in my stack so that I can just take a lookup and understand that do I need to process this element or not. If the element is already in my answer, I don't need to process it. But A is not in my answer, so I will process it and I will do the same thing. For A, I will see the previous element, it is B. Is B in future or not? Why I would check? Because B is more than A lexicographically. So in future, we do have a B, right? We have a B here and I can see it from the count itself. So I would say, and before doing this, the moment I see a, I would decrease its count, right? So now the count of A will be 0. The count of B is 1. So I know that we have a B in future. So I can simply remove this B from my answer and my answer starts with a A. So now now you can see how the answer is building up. Similarly, the moment I see a C here, I would add it in my answer because the previous character is not more than C, right? So right now the answer is lexicographically smaller. Similarly, I see a D here, and if you see a D and you go to the previous element and you see that the previous element is again not lexicographically bigger. Actually, D is bigger, right? So right now we are creating the sequence in lexicographically correct form. Next, I see a C, but I already have a C, so I ignore it. Next, I have a B. And before I do this, since we have processed D, C, and now we are processing B, so we need to decrease its count as well. So the count of B would be 0. The count of C would be 1 because we had to include this as well. I didn't decrease the count. And the count of D would be 0. So now the count will be 0, 0, 1, 0. And right now we are processing B. So the moment I process a B, I see that the previous element is actually bigger than B. So ideally we would want that this B should be before this D, right? But if I see in future, I do not have a D, right? And in our answer, we definitely need all the characters, right? So I cannot remove this D because I do not have a D in future. So I would have to include this b in my answer, and the moment I include this b in my answer and process the next element, which I already have, we are out of the loop, and the sequence which we have got is a c d b, and that's our final answer. So this is the logic which we need to incorporate to solve this problem. And if I just show you the solution for this, the solution is also very simple to understand. Initially, we are storing the frequency of all the characters because we need the count, and we are storing a scene set which will have the elements which are going to be in our stack, and this is our stack. Now we go through all the elements, and the moment we see a character, we decrease its frequency by 1, and we check that if this character is not already seen, then we do a logic. The logic is, while we have something in the stack and the previous element in the stack is more than the current character, it means now the lexicographical order is not maintained, but we have to ensure that the element which is previous, we get this in future. So if the frequency of this previous element is more than 0, still in that case we know that we are going to get the element in future. So I can just pop out the element. So I would say st.pop, I would get that element and remove it from my set as well. And after this process is completed, for the current character I would just add it in my stack and add it in my set as well. So after this loop is over, after we have incorporated our logic, we can just join our stack elements and return it as a string, and that will be our final solution. If you would submit this solution, you would get an accepted response from LeetCode. Runtime wise, it is really good. Memory wise, I think we could improve, but I think this is a very good solution for this particular problem. And that's it for this problem, guys. If you found this particular explanation helpful, then make sure that you hit that like button. And if you're not subscribed to my channel as of now, then please do so, because I would be uploading the daily solutions of the LeetCode problem of the day. So it would be helpful for you. For now, I think we are good for this video. Thank you for watching. I would see you guys in the next video.